Chapter 879. The Mu family came to visit 3 Grandmaster Hai Rong. I understand now. Mu Ling laughed bitterly and helplessly. Qingyang had not been at the Mu family recently. Therefore, there was no one who could take good care of the old master. But the old master was stubborn. He did not understand that no one else would take such good care of him in this world. She did not even lament but simply continued to obediently take care of the old master. Although Suyi treated the old master nicely too, the problem was the old master was the first one who had treated Suyi nicely. If the case was turned around and it was Suyi, if the old master scolded and hit Suyi, she would never have taken good care of him like she always did. Only Qingyang behaved like that. Her love for him was too deep and strong. She would endure all the pain for him. He could never repay her kindness in his lifetime. Young manor master. Suddenly, a voice was heard. Mu Ling raised his head and he soon saw an imperial guard approaching him swiftly. What happened? Mu Ling was annoyed. Did Tan Shuangshuang create trouble again? The imperial guard trembled in fear. He was anxious. But he still revealed what had happened in the streets to Mu Ling. Mu Ling's face darkened. He smashed his fist on the table. He was outraged. Tan Shuangshuang, that goddamn woman. I told her that her past must not be revealed. I won't allow anyone to find out that she's unvirtuous. How dare Tan Shuangshuang ignore his order? He would surely have beaten Tan Shuangshunag to death if she was not pregnant. Go. Go and bring her here. Mu Ling was somber. He gave his order angrily. Yes. The imperial guard received his order obediently and retreated. Another imperial guard rushed to him again when the previous imperial guard left the room. He greeted Mu Ling, young manor master. Mu Ling took up the jade cup beside him, annoyed. He took a sip of the tea and looked at the imperial guard who was standing in front of him. He seemed cold and distant. Are you going to tell me that Tan Shuangshuang has created trouble again? No, no, the imperial guard replied, respectfully. Young manor master, the young mistress is back me for extra chapters. Mu Ling clenched his fists so tightly that he broke the teacup in his hand. He did not seem delighted at all. But his face darkened. Who did you say is back? It's the young lady. Lady Qin from the Qin family has passed the message to us just now. She met the young lady just now. Mu Ling would surely have been delighted if Suyi had come back before this. But why is it happening now? Grandmaster Hai Rong will leave in a few days. I will never allow Suyi and Grandmaster Hai Rong to meet. Go and pass along my order. Ask Tan Shuangshuang to kneel down in the ancestral hall. I need to go out for some business. Mu Ling recovered his senses and smoothed his long sleeves. Then, he walked out of the living room in big strides. At the pavilion in the garden, Feng Ruqing held Suyi's hand and sat down, slowly. Little Qinghan's big and bright eyes blinked. She curled up into a fetal position and rested on Feng Ruqing's legs. Qing'er, it's been a while since we last met. Why do I feel that you're slimmer now? Suyi held Feng Ruqing's hands with much sadness. Did Nanxian not take good care of you these days? You have come to Tianshan Manor on your own. You have not even brought along some maids to take care of you. Even if you don't bring them along, you could bring along some spirit beasts given that there is a whole load of them in your manor. Feng Ruqing was bewildered. She wanted to tell Suyi that Nanxian was not around. But Suyi was blaming Nanxian again before Feng Ruqing could say anything. Where is Nanxian? He told me that he's here. Where did he go? Feng Ruqing did not know how to respond to that. Suyi could locate her. Did Nanxian tell her that? Did Nanxian know that she was going to come to Tianshan Manor? Feng Ruqing's face darkened then. Oh, he might be fooling around with Qingzhu right now. Suyi frowned. I can tell that Qingzhu is not a nice snake. It has even kidnapped Nanxian. Qing'er, don't worry about it. I'll brew a snake soup when we meet them next time. It could be accompanied by phoenix soup. It can help to strengthen your body. Qingzhu could not help but sneeze even though it was far away from Tianshan Manor. It stretched its head. It seemed dazzled. Did somebody just speak evil about me? It must be that charming snake. Master, are you sure that the charming snake would not pursue me all the way here? Nanxian scanned Qingzhu calmly. Qingzhu soon shut its mouth and it did not say anything more. Soon, Nanxian saw a young man standing on the surface of the water with a white phoenix. He appeared calm. Didn't a princess called Princess Water Snake like you before? If Qingzhu were a cat, its fur would surely be standing on its end when it heard what Nanxian had just said. But Qingzhu was only a snake. It did not react like a cat. It just straightened its body and remained in a guarding position. Master, what do you want now? Qingzhu's voice was filled with a plea. It was a snake who has its own pride and dignity. It would never trade its body for some kind of business. It would never go and seduce another snake. Yes. You go and seduce it. Let their people refuse to help it to find its way. Qingzhu almost burst into tears. Master, although Princess Water Snake is charming, it's too ferocious. I'm scared. Nanxian became quiet again. Master, why don't you do it yourself? Why? Qingzhu's voice was trembling. You're able to do it yourself. Why do you want to sacrifice my dignity? I don't want to do that. Nanxian remained calm. We need someone to be blamed if Qing'er knows about this, me for extra chapters. The underlying message was that Qingzhu would be the scapegoat. If Feng Ruqing was angry with what they had done, he could blame it on Qingzhu. Qingzhu was shocked. It stared at Nanxian helplessly. It could not even bring itself to cry. He was unwilling to allow his rival in love to go and meet the princess. So, he pushed the pitiful snake forward to prevent that from happening. The princess will surely kill me and brew a snake soup out of me. It's real. Yes. Nanxian remained cold. Qing'er has always yearned for a snake soup. If that's the case, let her have the snake soup to strengthen her body. Qingzhu soon exploded with anger. Its master was no longer the master he knew since he had met the princess. He had no limit now. Master, I was just joking. Really? Qingzhu curled itself on Nanxian's arm like an obedient dog. You're the most respected master I have ever had. I'll go to seduce the princess if you ask me to. I'll do whatever you want even if you asked me to seduce a worm. Nanxian kept quiet and it appeared that he had fallen into deep thought. The look in his eyes scared Qingzhu. Qingzhu could not help but tremble. It soon remembered that there was indeed a worm who wanted to seduce it before. It could not be helped. It was the most charming snake among the snakes. Every spirit beast wanted to seduce it. Actually, I was just joking. Nanxian replied calmly, noted. I'll remember what you said. Qingzhu cried sadly. Master, don't you remember things for less than 7 seconds only? I'm begging you now. Please forget what I have just said. Just assume that I did not say anything. Is that okay? Nanxian pulled Qingzhu away from his arm. Then, he threw it aside expressionlessly. Chapter 881. The Mu family came to visit. His gaze fell onto the young man who was standing on the surface of the water. His eyes darkened and there seemed to be an indescribable secret in his eyes. In the pavilion. Little Qing Han raised her little head. She looked up at Suyi innocently. Grandma Suyi, how did father know that mother is here? Mother didn't want him to know and that's why she didn't tell her. Suyi was stunned. Why would Nanxian know about her whereabouts when Feng Ruqing did not tell him herself? Qing Han, you don't have to ask anymore. I know now. Feng Ruqing closed her eyes slowly. She opened her eyes after a while. No wonder. No wonder she slept so soundly when she was at Fengyun Manor. But what Nanxian didn't know was that she was still aware of her surroundings even when in deep sleep. Feng Ruqing thought that she had felt that way because she missed Nanxian deeply. But, it seemed not to be the truth after much consideration. Was the state preceptor following her? Suyi seemed baffled. She did not know what had happened. Qing'er, Suyi. Suddenly, a familiar voice interrupted Suyi. She became tense and cold. Her coldness was filled with a feeling of distancing herself from the rest of the world. Suyi, are you back? Really? It was evening now. There was only the sound of the night breeze in the manor. Mu Ling's gaze fell on Suyi. He seemed delighted and excited. Unknowingly, Suyi felt that his excitement was faked. It was disgusting. You're the young manor master of the Mu family. How could you intrude upon us without asking for our permission? Suyi laughed coldly. Then, she got up. Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruching seemed calm. She got up slowly and held Suyi's cold hand. Feng Ruching knew that Suyi would surely be troubled by the Mu family if she ever came back to Tianshan Manor. That was why she did not want Suyi to be a part of this. But still, the Mu family came in the end. Suyi, why didn't you inform me about your return? Mu Ling frowned slightly. If you had told me, I would have ordered someone to go and fetch you. Suyi tilted her head and looked at Mu Ling calmly. Are you satisfied with the concubine I have sent you? If you're not, I don't mind sending you more concubines. Oh, that's right. I have forgotten about that. You're infertile now. Mu Ling's face darkened. He clenched his fists tightly. You're really the one who has done that, Suyi. You were not like that in the past. When did you become so cruel? Mu Ling went to meet Suyi because he wanted to talk with her calmly. But what Suyi had said hurt him. The excitement on his face disappeared completely. Suyi, don't forget that you're the young lady of the Mu family. Mu Ling was infuriated. What good does it bring you even if you did that? Suyi smiled calmly. Don't you want to continue pretending here? Mu Ling was outrageous. Suyi, why don't you learn from Qingyang? You have always claimed that Qingyang cannot be compared to you. But she has been managing the entire Mu family in an orderly manner. The entire household praises her. Did any of the elders or servants praise you when you were there before? They were filled with complaints. Suyi clenched her fists tightly. Her face paled. The old master had always been weak since the beginning. Therefore, he had given Suyi the right to manage the entire Mu family. Chapter 882. Nanxian is here. Suyi had always treated the others strictly. She trained those people diligently for the sake of the Mu family. She wanted to strengthen the power of the Mu family. She started out as a strict superior so that the Mu family could always be on its guard. But Chen Qingyang did not have to tire herself out. She only needed to take some spirit herbs and give them to the people of the Mu family. They would surely obey her and praise her endlessly. But those spirit herbs belonged to the Mu family. The spirit herbs were arranged and shared accordingly. But it would surely ruin the Mu family in no time. Suyi had always placed the benefits of the Mu family before herself. But it seemed to be her fault now. She could cease to care for the Mu family and Mu Ling. But all her efforts, time, patience, and even endless exhaustion were useless. All she received, in the end, were sarcastic criticisms. It showed how pathetic she was. A strong wave of wind came swiftly toward him. Mu Ling recovered his senses and dodged the attack. The strong wind hit the towering tree next to him. The entire tree was uprooted and fell crashing to the ground. Mu Ling dodged quickly, but the dirt on the ground still stained his clothes. The strong wave was swept up. He could not help but cough. His face darkened as he stared at Feng Ruching coldly. A dark warrior? He did not guess wrongly. The young girl who stood in front of him was a dark warrior. Her strength would surely be outstanding even if she was among the people in Tianshan Manor. Unfortunately, there was a genius in Tianshan Manor and he was Nanxian. Mu Ling wanted to look for a suitable match for Nanxian who could match his status instead of another genius. Little girl. Mu Ling sneered and then smiled coldly. It's the Mu family's business. You're not one of us. You have no right to attack me on behalf of Suyi. Mu Ling would never forgive that young girl if it was not for the sake of Suyi, given that she attacked him first. Some people receive praises and admiration by giving out some small treats. Feng Ruching walked toward Mu Ling. She sounded serious. Qingyang doesn't know that what she has given out belonged to the Mu family. She did not have to contribute anything and the others would completely obey her nonetheless. On the contrary, some people tired themselves out their whole lives for the Mu family, yet they are blamed instead. Moreover, some people could not even think properly. Their brains seem to have been soaked in the water and they cannot distinguish the good from the bad. They are extremely stupid. What the young girl said sounded like a heavy hammer smashing against Mu Ling's heart. He was outraged. Young girl, don't assume that I'll allow you such privilege to criticize me just because Suyi is on your side. Feng Ruqing laughed. Criticized you? Do you even have a brain? That's just a pile of shit. Its content is shit to me for extra chapters. How dare you? Mu Ling scolded loudly. Little girl, have you forgotten that I'm Nanxian's father? If you want to be his woman, it's useless if you are nice to Suyi only. It's I who has the right to decide on his marriage. Suyi's eyes were cold. She wanted to say something to rebuke what Mu Ling said. However, Feng Ruqing gave her a warning glance. She seemed overbearing and stubborn. Suyi, go and wait for me somewhere else. You don't know how to deal with this kind of shameless people. Suyi was speechless. Unknowingly, the feeling of being protected by her daughter-in-law made Suyi want to cry. It was a warm feeling. So, Suyi obeyed her and did not say anything more. She went to stand further away, obediently. Then, Feng Ruqing turned around to look at Mu Ling. She smirked. Do you think that you're able to force Nanxian to listen to you? Mu Ling's facial expression darkened. Nanxian had never listened to his father. I'm his father. So what if he resists me? Parents always get to decide their children's marriage. He must not reject it. Oh. Feng Ruqing smiled a little. If he's willing to return to the Mu family, I'll bring along Suyi and leave. Suyi's eyes brightened. But, she realized that it was not a good thing to do. So, she remained calm and neutral. That's enough. Mu Ling came that day for Suyi's sake and not Nanxian's. I have come to talk to Suyi. You just get lost. Feng Ruqing smiled. You're permitted to talk to Suyi if you bring Chen Qingyang here. Ask her to kneel down and kowtow to Suyi until Suyi is willing to forgive her. She should do that to admit her wrongdoings. If Suyi doesn't forgive her, she should kneel down in front of her for the rest of her life. Mu Ling clenched his fists tightly. He was furious. At first, Nanxian was not bothered about Qingyang and had taken Black Dragon away for Feng Ruqing. Now, that young girl was humiliating Qingyang in such a way. Qingyang had never annoyed anybody first in her entire life. But, they simply would not let her go. Mu Ling's eyes were cold and distant. Qingyang is my woman. I need to be responsible for her whole life. She has sacrificed a lot for me. I must not wrong her. Qingyang could even give up her life for Mu Ling. What right did he have to harm that kind of woman? Suyi, I know that you're upset with Qingyang. He suppressed all of his anger when he faced Suyi. He tried to use a calm voice. But, I'm indebted to Qingyang. I still owe her a life. I thought that you would understand my situation in the past. In fact, it's what I owe to her. Mu Ling had fallen in love with Qingyang when he was young. But, they could not be together because of his father's opposition. Later, he met Suyi. He thought that he had met his true love. He could give Qingyang up for Suyi. He had even prioritized Suyi over everything else. He was always sincere and true to her. But, Qingyang saved him without caring for her own life. She almost died saving him. He should have humanity given that he was a human. He could not ignore Qingyang's deep love for him. Me for extra chapters. Moreover, it was normal for men to have a wife and several concubines. He never thought that Suyi would react so negatively. She did not even try to understand his actions. Suyi stood in the glow of the sunset without saying anything. Suyi. Mu Ling was having a headache now. When I was hurt, Qingyang was the one who took care of me and stayed by my side. Where were you back then? Qingyang was the one who saved me without thinking twice about dying for me. Where were you back then? I love you and that's why I tolerate your behavior. Don't you understand that? If another woman had made a mess like that and made him infertile, he would never pursue her again even if he chose to forgive her. There was only Suyi who could do that to him. He might have treated Suyi with much care until she forgot her place and became reckless. Suyi raised her head and stared at Mu Ling. But she never said anything and remained cold and distant because of what Feng Ruqing had said just now. Feng Ruqing held Suyi's trembling hand tightly. Then, she scanned Mu Ling coldly. Are you done? If Qingyang is so good and nice, why have you come to bother Suyi? Do you want the rest of the world to know that you are still unable to forget about your ex-wife? Chapter 884. Nanxian is here. 3 Mu Ling replied in annoyance. No outsider should comment on what concerns me and Suyi only. Then, I won't comment. Feng Ruqing smiled. She did not comment anymore. It was because she started to attack him again. Boom. Soon, rocks started falling onto the ground just like a rain of rocks. However, all of it centered around the same target, Mu Ling. It seems that young Manor Master Mu has committed quite a lot of crimes. You're being punished by God. Feng Ruqing's smile deepened. Her smile was so deep that it reached her eyes. It was captivating. But, where did the rocks come from? Feng Ruqing's medium was a world of its own. She could even bring out the houses in the medium when she became a dark warrior. Feng Ruqing's heart fluttered. What if she brought out the divine herbs sect in the medium and smashed Mu Ling to death? But, the manor might not be able to hold it if she really did that. It would totally create great chaos. Feng Ruqing chose to forego that idea after much consideration. She would just use the giant rocks to crush Mu Ling to death. Feng Ruqing. Mu Ling gritted his teeth. He was caught in an awkward position and he tried his best to dodge the rocks. Luckily, his strength was powerful. He could smash the rocks even if he was unable to dodge all of the rocks. What have you done? How did you do that? Did she just move the objects through the open space? But, there are not that many rocks here for her to do that. Boom. Mu Ling was unprepared when a vine appeared from below him. He stumbled and fell down. Mu Ling would never fall into an enemy's trap so easily in the past. But, who would have guessed that there would be vines appearing from underneath him and making him stumble? Moreover, the vines had appeared from underground directly. If it was created in space, he would have felt its presence. But, no one could feel its presence if the vine appeared from underground, no matter how strong they were. Mu Ling seemed concentrated. He pulled the vine with great force and it was torn. But, the rocks fell on him at lightning speed. He did not have enough time to dodge them or smash them. So, a rock fell on him and hit his balls hard when he turned around. Me for extra chapters. Mu Ling could hear the sound of his balls being crushed. It was a heart-wrenching pain. His whole body trembled and he drew in a cold breath. Goddamn it. He would totally kill that young girl even if Suyi stopped him and sided with her. I heard that you're infertile now. Feng Ruqing smiled. What's the use of keeping your balls? They're better smashed. Mu Ling crawled up from the ground. He held onto his crotch and his face darkened. He was outraged. Qing Zhu had sacrificed himself. It had almost lost its innocence too. Xiao Qing. Feng Ruqing saw Qing Zhu at first glance. She laughed happily. It's been a while since we last met. Why do I feel that you're much better looking now? Your color is much greener. Qing Zhu was speechless. It trembled and raised its head. It soon saw that Nanxian was looking at it. It swallowed its saliva with much difficulty. It's not my fault. Really. The princess said that I'm much greener now. It must be the reason why she noticed me. I did not attract her attention. It's really because of my color. Qing Zhu's voice was shaky until the end. It was almost bursting into tears. I heard that there's a worm who adores you. Qing Zhu remained quiet. Let's arrange for your marriage when we're back. Qing Zhu froze. It was asked to seduce another snake in the past. Now, the master wanted to arrange for its marriage. Master, there's nothing between the princess and I. There were a lot of spirit beasts in the princess manor. Why was the master so resolutely guarded against it? Was it its fault for being green? It was innocent. Nanxian and Qing Zhu are back. Suyi smiled softly and said, recently, Qing'a needs something to strengthen her body. This snake is quite fine. It could be used for that purpose so that this snake won't kidnap you. Qing Zhu jumped down from Nanxian's neck. It ran away in tears. It could not stay with them anymore. Everybody was bullying it. It wanted to run away from home and never come back to them. Feng Ruqing smiled and watched Qing Zhu as it left them. After a while, she turned her gaze to Nanxian. Firstly, did you ask the people from the Divine Herbs sect to cause trouble in Tianshan Manor? Nanxian was quiet for a while. Qing Zhu did that. Did you stalk me? Feng Ruqing narrowed her eyes. Nanxian thought for a while. It was Qing Zhu who persuaded me to do that. Did you go to Fengyun Manor and look for me there? That was Qing Zhu too. All of those things were done by Qing Zhu. Nanxian was innocent. Me for extra chapters. 1 inch really? Feng Ruqing smiled beautifully. Yes, Nanxian replied, calmly. Oh, it seems that Qing Zhu has done quite a lot for me. I need to treat it better in the future. Don't always. Nanxian pulled Feng Ruqing into an embrace. I was just talking nonsense just now. I'm the one who has ordered Qing Zhu to do those things. It has nothing to do with those things. Feng Ruqing was speechless. How could the state preceptor say something like that so shamelessly? Suyi felt that her son had changed. He was never that shameless in the past. Suyi. Feng Ruqing turned and looked at Suyi. The old master of the Mu family's birthday is coming soon. Do you want to go? One Suyi was stunned and nodded her head slightly. I'll go with you. Feng Ruqing held her hand. She sounded firm, a smile crept onto Suyi's calm face. The people of the Mu family are wicked and evil except the old master and Xiao Qingyin. Moreover, all of the others are white-eyed wolves. I don't want them to pollute your eyes. Her smile faded when she thought of the incidents that had happened in the past. Mu Ling said that only Qingyang stayed by his side when he was hurt. He did not know where I went. But, what he did not know was that my strength was affected when I treated him. That's why he could live. Now, I'm still not fully recovered. Actually, I'm responsible for what happened too. I did not tell him the truth because I didn't want him to feel guilty about it. I have even asked the old master to hide the truth from him. But, we met with the enemies of the Mu family when the three of us left Tianshan Manor back then. He only remembered that Chen Qingyang stayed by his side all the time. But, he forgot that I was the one who has driven the enemies away. They were able to run away because of that. However, I was badly hurt. I hid for half a year to recover my strength before I could return to the Mu family. The news I received when I returned was that Mu Ling was going to take Chen Qingyang as his concubine. Suyi closed her eyes slowly. She thought that she had forgotten about her past. But, she still held a great hatred toward all the things that had happened. She tried her best to recover from that great pain. She would never step into another pit for the rest of her life. Feng Ruqing was quiet for a while. Why didn't you speak up when that bastard was here? You had done nothing wrong. No one has the right to blame you. Suyi looked at Feng Ruqing with a baffled expression. Didn't you ask me to stay away and do nothing? Feng Ruqing was speechless. She realized that her future mother-in-law was quite innocent and naive. That might be the reason why she was easily cheated by Mu Ling in the past. Luckily, Suyi woke up from that illusion. She walked out of that pit. Nanxian, where did you leave that bastard just now? Feng Ruqing turned to look at Nanxian. Nanxian stroked the young girl's hair softly. I left him in a place from where he will need half a month to crawl back here. It had been a long time since Nanxian was able to stay by Feng Ruqing's side. Surely he did not want Mu Ling to come and disturb them. Qinga, I'm tired. I'll go and take a rest now. Suyi smiled slightly. You stay with Nanxian. It's much better if you could have a child soon. Little Qinghan blinked. Will that child be as cute as I am? Of course. Suyi pinched little Qinghan's small face happily. Qinghan, which one do you like? A brother or sister? Qinghan bit her fingernails. I want a cute younger sister. I don't like younger brothers. Why? Younger brothers are just too naughty. Younger sisters will be much obedient and nice. But, ill like every child mother has. Then, let's not disturb them. They might be able to have a child soon. Suyi led little Qinghan away. They smiled and walked toward the backyard. Feng Ruqing and Nanxian were the only ones left in the garden. Nanxian held out his hands and pulled Feng Ruqing into an embrace. He stroked her head softly. His fingers combed through Feng Ruqing's hair. His breathing was warm. Me for extra chapters. Why did you stalk me but never appeared in front of me? Feng Ruqing raised her eyes and looked at the man in front of her. The man's smile was gentle and warm. You didn't want me to accompany you. If I did appear in front of you, would you have been angry? Feng Ruqing was stunned. Nanxian had stalked Feng Ruqing secretly because he was afraid that it might upset her if he suddenly appeared in front of her. It was Feng Ruqing who had the intention to sleep with him first. But, the one who was careful not to hurt the other's feelings was Nanxian now. Feng Ruqing was in a difficult position. Nanxian appeared to be cold and distant when she first met him. It had created a desire in her to tear off his coldness. But, he had become a stalker now. I don't want you here because it's a place that only brings back nightmares to both of you. Feng Ruqing raised her head and looked at Nanxian with deep emotions. It doesn't mean that I don't want you here with me. But, I have a very serious question for you. You must answer it. When did you fall in love with me? She could not remember when the state preceptor started to have feelings for her. Love at first sight. Feng Ruqing did not care for that. She was extremely plump when she met the state preceptor for the first time. She did not believe that the state preceptor would fall in love with her at first sight. But, the state preceptor had always sided with her even before she became slimmer. So, when did it happen? Nanxian stroked the young girl's face. Maybe, it all started when I was 5 years old. What? It turned out that Nanxian had fallen for Feng Ruqing since the age of 5. I met you in my dream when I was 5. In the dream, the young lady's body was covered with blood. Currently, whenever Nanxian recalled the moment he looked into the young lady's eyes that were filled with sorrow, his heart was ripped apart. He pulled Feng Ruqing into his arms and held her close. Nanxian lowered his head to kiss her. Feng Ruqing could feel his cold breath lingering on the tip of her nose, and that did not fade for a long while. Xiao Qing. Ji rushed into the manor, excitedly. At that very moment, Ji's face stiffened. She saw 2 people hugging and kissing each other. It was spectacularly breathtaking that even the most beautiful scenery could not compare. The young master was devastatingly handsome. He looked so ethereal and otherworldly. Resting in his embrace was an enchantingly stunning lady in a red robe. Her beauty could bring everyone to their knees. Burning with fury, Ji's breathing turned shallow. Xiao Yin is right. Nanxian is such a homewrecker. He has always been seducing Xiao Qing with his stunning face. It is fine if he loves Xiao Qing wholeheartedly, but he already has Qin Feiya. Moreover, the Mu family is a mess currently. What if he breaks Xiao Qing's heart? One Feng Ruqing was so gentle. Naturally, she was no match for those bastards. At this time, Nanxian glanced at Ji calmly. Although Nanxian was just randomly looking around, when Nanxian's eyes met Ji's, her body stiffened. It felt as if a chill was piercing into her body, streaming all the way up into her heart from her feet. Go ahead. I am here to take a look. Please ignore me. Panicking, Ji rushed out of the manor. She could feel that if she stayed there any longer, Nanxian would tear her apart. He might even whip her dead body after killing her. Only when Ji had left the manor, she calmed down and came back to her senses. Her father, Ji Shi, was the manor master of Tianshan Manor. What was she afraid of? Ji was never scared of anything. However, when she saw Nanxian, she lost her guts. Ji did not have the courage to go back. She pouted indignantly as she stared resentfully at the closed gate behind her. Me for extra chapters. Nanxian is truly a homewrecker. He is too sketchy. I am no match for him without Xiao Yin by my side. Ji snorted. Xiao Yin is right. This homewrecker has seduced Xiao Qing with his stunning face. Xiao Qing loved beautiful faces. She has totally lost her mind because of him. Ji Yue bit her finger. Suddenly, the image of Qin Fei flashed through her mind. Ji Yue could not help getting more and more furious. Xiao Yin is right. Xiao Qing could dump Nanxian, but Nanxian could never dump Xiao Qing. Although we want to take Xiao Qing away, none of the ladies out there should catch a glimpse of her. I must think of a way to get rid of the slut Qin Fei when I go back. I must not upset Xiao Qing. Just as Ji Yue turned around, a familiar figure came into sight. Seeing her, Ji Yue's face darkened. Enquise was standing not far away with a ghastly expression on her face. Her hands were balled into fists, her eyes were burning with jealousy. Enquise had struggled through some dark days ever since she was banished from the chief manor. Currently, she just wanted to take a stroll outside. Perhaps, she could bump into an affluent young master and her life would be much better than now. She had never thought that she would bump into Ji Yue. More shockingly, Ji Yue was so slim now. With a faint smile, Enquise walked slowly toward Ji Yue. Even if she was jealous, she did not dare to show it on her face. Sister, I feel really bad that I could not make it to your birthday feast last time. I heard that you have called off the arranged marriage with Nanxian? Enquise said softly. Whether or not I have broken off the engagement, what does that have anything to do with you? Ji Yue snorted. Previously, Enquise was the one who had encouraged Ji Yue to look for Nanxian in Liu Yun Kingdom. Not only did Enquise push her, but she had also even made Feng Ruqing a scapegoat. However, Ji Yue could never meet Feng Ruqing if Enquise had never done that to her. Hearing this, Enquise's face changed slightly but she quickly regained her composure. Sister, Nanxian was previously your betrothed. Naturally, I could never fight with you. Now that you have called off the marriage, I want to be Nanxian's concubine. Could you help me to get your father to tell young Master Mu Ling? Enquise reached out to grab Ji Yue's arm gently. As Nanxian was Ji Yue's betrothed previously, Enquise dared not make such a request. Since Nanxian had nothing to do with Ji Yue now, she must seize the opportunity. Sister, I am your cousin. As the saying goes, one should always keep the benefits within the family. You will never let me down, will you? Enquise's eyes were flooded with tears. Ji Yue shook off Enquise's hand, violently. She had never felt that tears could be this disgusting before this. Ji Yue's reaction caught Enquise completely off guard. Startled, Enquise took a few steps backward. Her eyes were still fixed on Ji Yue. Why do you think that Nanxian would make you his concubine if my father talks to young Master Mu Ling about it? Ji Yue's face darkened. She looked down at Enquise disdainfully. Enquise pursed her lips tightly. Previously, when Enquise was still in the chief manor, the Mu family did not hesitate to make her Nanxian's concubine. She did not even need Ji Yue's help. Now everyone knew Enquise had been thrown out of the chief manor. The people of the Mu family were very snobbish. Naturally, they would never accept Enquise to be Nanxian's concubine. Sister, please help me. You are the only one who can help me. Otherwise, my mother and I will not be able to survive, Enquise cried, pitifully. Oh, if you cannot survive, you could just end your life. If you can't do it yourself, I could help you. Ji Yue stared coldly at Enquise. Enquise's eyes widened in shock. She could not believe the things that she had just heard. Enquise was Ji Yue's kin after all. How could Ji Yue say that to her? The Ji Yue family's guard stared sternly at Enquise. They had unsheathed the swords and taken a few steps forward. Ji Yue, you are so ruthless. Seeing this, Enquise took a few steps backward, subconsciously. Her face was ghastly pale. Me for extra chapters. You said you will not be able to survive. I am helping you because you are my cousin. Do you know why I have broken off the marriage with Nanxian? Ji Yue smiled as he walked up to Enquise. Why? Because he has taken away the lady whom I love the most. Enquise turned her head stiffly and stared blankly at Ji Yue's stunning faces. So, why do you think that I would help you? Gue's eyes curved into two crescent moons. Although Gue had called off the marriage as she felt that the Mu family had deceived her, she would never tell Encui about this. She wanted Encui to know that she would never help others to do something that might upset Fengruching. Gue, I am your cousin and we share the same blood. Encui's face contorted with rage. She had stopped pretending to be pitiful. Drain all her blood from her body, Gue pouted. Hearing this, Encui was rendered speechless. You said that we share the same blood, didn't you? When all your blood is drained from your body, I will inject the blood of a different families into your body. Hence, you will not be related to me in any way anymore. Encui might lose her life. Thinking of this, Encui's body gave an involuntary shudder. Seeing the two guards walking up to her and holding onto her arms, Encui was frightened and quickly pushed the guards away. She then pounced on Gue and held onto her thigh. Sister, I was wrong. Don't let them drain my blood, I'm scared. Encui knew that Gue had always walked the talk. Encui, you are part of the En family, which has nothing to do with the Gu family. I will tell my father to send you and your mother back when I get home. Gu Sha had banished Encui and her mother out of the chief manor, but not Tianshan manor as he wanted to spare their feelings. Hence, they did not suffer from hunger after leaving the chief manor. However, both of them were ungrateful wretches. No. Encui was getting more panicked. She did not want to go back to that place. She did not want to go back to the dark days. Moreover, Encui's mother would be beaten to death. Gue disregarded Encui and left together with the guards. Standing under the setting sun, Encui watched Gue left. She could feel an icy cold sensation all over her body like she was being dumped into an ice cellar. Gue, you are truly ruthless. You don't even care about your kin. One tears broke free from the corner of Encui's eyes. Her face was contorted in rage. I will ask others to help me. When I step into the Mu family, everything that you have chosen to let go would become mine. The Prince Charming of all the ladies in Tianshan Manor is mine. Everyone in Mu family was very busy as the old master's birthday was just around the corner. Perhaps Mu Ling did not tell anyone that Suyi had returned to the Mu family. Suyi's life was peaceful and quiet. No one in the Mu family disturbed her. At the time, Han Feng saw Mu Ling from afar as he limped out of the main hall. Master, you are back. When you were not around in the past half a month, Lady Tan had taken full control of the old master's birthday feast preparation, Han Feng said. Excitement crept into his voice. How could that undignified lady prepare for the old master's birthday feast? Mu Ling's face darkened. Me for extra chapters. Your leg has not recovered yet? Mu Ling asked as he frowned. Han Feng smiled wryly. The other day, Mu Ling had tasked Han Feng to send the bride price to the princess manor. However, before Han Feng could step into the princess manor, Fengruching had thrown him out of the manor. Unfortunately, Nanxian and Suyi had beheld the whole incident. Not only did Han Feng's leg was crippled, he was severely injured. He had been resting in the Mu family since and had only managed to walk out of the chamber today. Hence, Han Feng would never step into Liu Yun Kingdom ever again. Master, it's getting better. Thank you. Are Huana and Qingyang back? When Mu Ling mentioned Qingyang, his face softened. His face was completely different when he talked about Tan Shuangshuang. Master, Lady Qingyang has tasked someone to send us a letter. She has found a birthday gift for the old master. She may return in the next few days. Hearing this, Mu Ling's eyes were full of tenderness. However, when he thought of how sarcastic Suyi had treated Chen Qingyang, his face darkened a few shades. By the way, has Grandmaster Hai Rong left? This was the most important thing now. The old master's birthday was just around the corner. If the Grandmaster Hai Rong was still staying in the Mu family, he might bump into Suyi and the lie would be revealed. Chapter 890. The birthday feast is just around the corner for young master. I heard that the Grandmaster Hai Rong has yet to leave as he is waiting for someone. Hearing this, Mu Ling's face changed. Originally, Mu Ling had gotten Hai Rong to treat the old master. in the hope that the old master would get better before his birthday, even if he knew that Suyi would return to the Mu family. The old master's strength had been greatly depleted. Even if the old master could never fully recover, Hai Rong might be able to stop the old master's strength from depleting further. Moreover, Mu Ling knew that Hai Rong would not stay long in the Mu family. However, he had never thought that Hai Rong would stay for such a long time. "All right, I hear what you say. Have you sent all the invitation letters out?" Mu Ling waved his hands and sank into contemplation. The subordinates had sent out all the letters. Mu Ling knitted his brows together, seemingly worried. When the old master was still in good health, he had acquaintances all over the world, people of Tianshan Manor and other clans. However, ever since the old master's health had declined year after year, those who attended his birthday feast too had declined year after year. That was not all. Many clans in Tianshan Manor were working together to seize the power from the Mu family. Mu Ling could not help but arrange a marriage for Nanxian in order to maintain the Mu family's foothold in this realm. Although Mu Ling knew that Nanxian was a rare talent and his strength would be unrivaled someday, that was too long from now. He could not wait any longer. "Get someone to inform me when Qingyang is back. I am going to see the old master." Feng Ruqing and Suyi were sitting next to each other, chatting cheerfully. At this time, a familiar voice spoke and broke off their conversations. "Young lady Xiaoqing, I am here to see you." Hearing this, Feng Ruqing's face darkened. It turns out that many people like to break into someone else's manor without consent. "I must get the snow wolf to guard the door next time. I have been waiting for you in the herb chamber for half a month. I have even asked Yi to invite you, but you did not show up. I really could not think of other ways. Hence, I am here to see you." Chen Kuan smiled brightly. He did not, in the slightest bit, feel guilty for what he had done. "Oh, I have been too busy lately. I don't have time to go out of my manor." Feng Ruqing smiled as she said. "Me for extra chapters." Feng Ruqing was too busy dating Nanxian. She simply had no time for the old fart, Chen Kuan. Haha. Chen Kuan laughed heartily. Although he knew that Feng Ruqing was making an excuse, he did not seem to care. "I have promised my old friend to introduce you to him. He was supposed to leave earlier, but since I did not manage to see you, I have brought him here. You have even done this without consent." Feng Ruqing's eyes swept past Chen Kuan disdainfully. Before Feng Ruqing could respond, the old man who stood next to Chen Kuan rushed over and held tightly onto Suyi's arm. Exploding with rage, Feng Ruqing's foot shot out to kick him. The old man dodged nimbly, her feet brushed past the old man's ear. However, a gust of wind from her foot had blown his hair into a wild tangle. Chen Kuan panicked and stared blankly at the old man. "Hai Rong, how could you do this to a lady? Even if this lady is pretty, you must not do that. You have ruined my reputation." Chen Kuan brought Hai Rong to see Feng Ruqing, but he had never thought that Hai Rong would do something so rude to a beautiful lady. Hai Rong was truly shameless. Suyi stared blankly at the old man before her. The old man looked familiar to her, but she could not recall where she had met him. "You are Mu Huan's master, Hai Rong?" Feng Ruqing narrowed her eyes. Hearing Feng Ruqing, Hai Rong had finally regained his sense. However, he did not look at Feng Ruqing. Hence, he did not notice that Feng Ruqing's face had darkened. "You are right. Mu Huan is my disciple." Feng Ruqing grabbed Suyi's hand, drawing her back, and was blocking the old man from seeing Suyi. Feeling a little awkward, Hai Rong coughed gently. Hai Rong was too excited just now. It was natural that Feng Ruqing kept her guard up against him. "Lady, do you remember me?" Hai Rong turned to look at Suyi with a smile on his face. "We used to discuss medical skills on the Divine Cloud Mountain. It has been nearly 20 years since we met. You still look exactly the same as you did. I could recognize you at first glance. I heard that you are married now. How are you doing? Where is your husband? Why is he not here with you?" Suyi stared attentively at Hai Rong. After pondering for a long while, she could finally recall who this old man was. "Oh, it's you. It's been more than 20 years. You looked a lot older. I could not recognize you just now. Hai Rong was dumbstruck by Suyi's words. Suyi still looked as young as when they first met, but Hai Rong was old. His beard had turned grey. Both of you know each other? Chen Kuan felt immensely relieved. He thought that Hai Rong was so shameless and was coming on to Suyi. Fortunately, it turned out that they knew each other. Otherwise, he would not have known how to straighten this out. Is she your daughter? Hai Rong looked at Feng Ruqing with a smile on his face. Chen Kuan has always been complimenting young lady Xiao Qing. Hence, I am here to see her. Lady, I did not think that you would become a mother so soon. Your daughter is so outstanding. Is she betrothed to anyone yet? I know many talented young masters. Suyi already felt a little uneasy meeting an old friend. When she heard Hai Rong's words, her face darkened a few shades. She quickly grabbed onto Feng Ruqing's arm, drawing Feng Ruqing next to her. Me for extra chapters. She is my daughter-in-law. Hearing this, Hai Rong's smile stiffened. He was actually poaching Suyi's daughter-in-law before her? Cough. Cough. Well, I didn't mean it. I had no idea that she is your daughter-in-law. Hai Rong coughed and smiled awkwardly. No worries. I trust you. However, my son may not trust you. Suyi gave Hai Rong an elegant and carefree smile. Mu Ling and Qingyang have missed you. They talked about you some time ago. Now that you are back, why don't you pay them a visit? How long do you plan to stay here this time? Why don't we go for a walk in the Divine Cloud Mountain? We are old friends, after all, you haven't visited me since you got married. Hai Rong's eyes went round as he quickly changed the topic. As Hai Rong had no children, he had always been living a carefree and unrestrained life until he met Suyi. Suyi was young and smart back then. Hai Rong had treated her as if she was his own daughter. Otherwise, he would not have taken Mu Huan as his disciple to repay her kindness. As soon as Hai Rong finished speaking, the smile on Feng Ruqing and Suyi's faces faded. As Suyi had a good upbringing, she did not show emotion on her face. However, she wanted to throw Hai Rong out of the manor. Grandmaster Chen Kuan, please show him out of here. Chapter 892. Hai Rong's agitation too. Did I say something wrong? Hai Rong's face stiffened. Young lady Xiao Qing, may I know the reason why? The corners of Chen Kun's lips lifted a little. When Feng Ruqing knew that Hai Rong was Mu Huan's master, she did not like him as she did not like anyone associated with Chen Qingyang. However, since Hai Rong was Suyi's old friend, she thought that Hai Rong was different from the people of the Mu family. Little did she know that there was no difference. On top of that, Hai Rong had actually stood up for them. It's because Suyi would never return to the Mu family. The people of the Mu family had hurt Suyi so badly. Why must Suyi go back to the Mu family? Dumbfounded, Hai Rong stood there on the spot, unsure of what to think. Hearing Suyi's name, Chen Kuan stared at Suyi's elegant face in shock. Back then, when Chen Kuan came to the chief manor, Suyi had left the Mu family. Hence, he had never met Suyi. However, he would never forget her name. Young lady Xiao Qing, you must tell me why you want me to leave. Otherwise, I will just stay here and you must give me a treat. Hai Rong's voice trembled. Hai Rong. Chen Kun's face changed. He quickly tugged at Hai Rong's sleeve. Just say it. Hai Rong glared at Chen Kuan. Her name is Suyi, what's wrong with that? Suyi. The name of the young lady of the Mu family is Suyi. Chen Kuan wanted to punch Hai Rong's head. Hai Rong realized what was happening. He turned his head around, stiffly, his body stiffened like a stone. You are Suyi? Your name is Suyi? Hai Rong stared blankly at Suyi. Hai Rong, you said that she is your old friend, but you don't even know her name. Chen Kuan smirked. It was true that Hai Rong did not know Suyi's name as Suyi had never told him. Hai Rong had always been burying himself in the art of healing. Hence, he had never asked Suyi's name before. Hai Rong knew Mu Ling's name as Mu Ling had told Hai Rong that since the first time they met. What? She is Suyi. She is the young lady who left the Mu family. Hai Rong's old face was ghastly pale. His body was so icy cold that even the sun was not capable of warming him up. Hai Rong, you really? Chen Kun stared at Hai Rong, a look of shock and disbelief crept into his face. Me for extra chapters. He really doesn't know her name. I owed you a favor back then. Mu Ling came to me together with Mu Huan and asked me to take her as my disciple to repay your kindness. Chen Qingyang had told me that you are her sister and Mu Huan, your niece. I really had no idea that you are the young lady of the Mu family. Hai Rong's quivering hands balled into fists. As Hai Rong was burning with anger just now, he had lost his senses. It was Chen Kun who had woken him up. Hai Rong had finally realized why Feng Ruqing wanted to chase him out of the manor. If Hai Rong were Feng Ruqing, he would have beaten himself to death, too. Feng Ruqing had treated Hai Rong with courtesy and respect because of Suyi by asking Chen Kun to take Hai Rong away. Mu Ling, Chen Qingyang. Hai Rong clenched his fists tightly. His face was contorted with a furious rage. You bastards! How dare you lie to me? Hai Rong owed Suyi a favor, but not only did Mu Ling drive Suyi away because of a concubine, but the concubine's daughter had also even taken away something that belonged to Suyi. It was all Hai Rong's fault. Chapter 893, Hai Rong's Agitation 3. Back then, Mu Ling and Suyi were constantly together, just like peas and carrots. Hai Rong did ask Mu Ling whether Suyi was Mu Ling's wife. Although Mu Ling did not deny it, he did not admit it either. Hence, Hai Rong had thought that Suyi was not Mu Ling's wife. Since Mu Ling treated Suyi so well and Suyi had relied on him, even if they were not a couple, they must be siblings. Hence, Hai Rong had never refused Mu Ling's requests. Hai Rong trusted Mu Ling so much. He had never thought that Mu Ling would deceive him. This is utterly ridiculous. Hai Rong let out a boisterous laugh, which was filled with anger. Mu Huan's medical talent is average, but she has no talent in cultivation. Since I have taken her as my disciple, I must guide her properly. I have given her so many spirit herbs in order to improve her strength. Hai Rong hid the fury in his eyes as he spoke. In the end, it turned out that Hai Rong had put so much effort into the wrong person. Although Mu Huan is haughty, it is not something awful. I am no different. That's how the people out there think of me after all. She does not have any other bad traits besides that. She is the only one by my side in the Divine Cloud Mountain all these years. She has been staying with me for more than 10 years, but her parents are annoying. Mu Huan was just a kid back then. If she had no idea what her parents were doing, Hai Rong would not blame her. However, if she was part of the sham, no matter how many years she had stayed with him, Hai Rong would never forgive her. Chen Kun merely sighed. Before that, Hai Rong had always stayed in the mountain alone. After taking Mu Huan as his disciple, Mu Huan had been keeping him company for over 10 years. Hence, it was natural that Hai Rong could not bear to part with Mu Huan. No matter how much Hai Rong disliked his disciple, having stayed together for such a long time, he could hardly leave her behind. However, if Mu Huan had been deceiving Hai Rong, then she had ulterior motives staying with him. No matter how much Hai Rong cared for Mu Huan, he would never forgive her. Suyi, I have always been on the mountain and was not aware of the things that happen here. However, if anyone does anything wrong to you, I will avenge you. Hai Rong stared at Suyi apologetically. Hai Rong was reluctant to part with Mu Huan as she had been accompanying him all these years. However, Hai Rong cared, pitied, and admired Suyi. Knowing that Suyi had gone through a lot of struggles all these years, he felt bad for her. Moreover, Hai Rong owed Suyi a favor, but he had actually repaid her kindness to those who hurt her. There is no need. I'm back here because of the old master's birthday. Moreover, the people of the Mu family think that I am a good-for-nothing and always mess with my son. They have even hurt Chinga. There are certain things that I must do on my own. Suyi smiled gracefully. Me for extra chapters. Besides, I am here because of Nanxian and Chinga. No one will be sticking their nose into my son's marriage. Chinga is my only daughter-in-law. Initially, Suyi had cared for Feng Ruqing as her son was in love with her. Suyi would accept whoever her son fell for. However, as time went by, Suyi was growing increasingly fond of Feng Ruqing. Since you are here, I am not going to leave anytime soon. Hai Rong sank into silence. What? I have been staying on the mountain all these years. I can hardly tell if someone is true to me. I want to see Mu Huan's true colors as she has always been by my side all these years. Hai Rong smiled wryly. A look of resolute determination crept into her eyes. Hai Rong, you must not trust someone too much. Have you forgotten what had happened back then? Chen Kuan smiled wryly. Hai Rong would not have vowed never to heal anyone if not because of something that had happened back then. As the saying goes, one would never know if the person he treated was indeed a human or a demon. Suyi, I owe you an explanation on this. Suppressing his fury, Hai Rong stared deep into Suyi's eyes and then turned to walk away. Chen Quan cupped his hands in respect and rushed after Hai Rong. Watching Chen Quan and Hai Rong leaving, Feng Ruqing narrowed her eyes and sank into contemplation. It seems that Mu Ling is true to Chen Qingyang. He has left all his principles behind because of her. Suyi's smile was as graceful as a gentle breeze. At this time, Feng Ruqing regained her focus and turned her head to look at Suyi. She heaved a sigh of relief when she noticed that the anger in Suyi had faded away. It seemed that Suyi had truly let go of Mu Ling. True love is mutual affection between two persons, and no third person is allowed to step into a relationship. Apparently, if a third party could easily break into a relationship, that is not true love. Just let him go. We shall see how long their relationship will last. Feng Ruqing smiled. If Mu Ling truly loved Chen Qingyang, he would never have brought Tan Shuangshuang back to the Mu family. Would you mind if I ruin the Mu family's reputation? Thinking of Tan Shuangshuang, Feng Ruqing looked at Suyi in her face. The Mu family is the old master's painstaking effort. Perhaps, you should ask the old master. The old master and Xiao Qingyin had wholeheartedly taken care of me when I was in the Mu family back then, Suyi replied, stunned. Although Suyi disliked the people of the Mu family, the old master was part of the Mu family after all. Suyi could not bear seeing the old master suffer. Moreover, the old master's health was declining. If Xiao Qingyin helms the Mu family, then don't ruin it. However, if Mu Ling is at the wheel, it would not be too late for you to do anything you want after I get Xiao Qingyin and the old master out of the Mu family, Suyi said with a faint smile on her face. The old master of the Mu family was poor in health. Xiao Qingyin was no better. If the two of them continued staying in such a toxic place, they would die from anger. Feng Ruqing had nothing to do with the Mu family. She did not even care if the Mu family's reputation was ruined. However, she cared for Suyi. She would never do anything that could hurt the things that Suyi cared for. The old master's birthday is just around the corner. Nanxian and I will go to the Mu family together with you. Me for extra chapters. Actually, you don't have to do that. Will you curse anyone? Feng Ruqing asked. Suyi shook her head. Will you hit anyone? Feng Ruqing continued asking. Suyi pursed her lips together. Suyi would hit Mu Ling and Chen Qingyang. However, she would not lay a hand on the rest. Well, that place is like a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. It's full of danger. You will definitely get hurt. Hence, Nanxian and I will never let you go there alone. Moreover, I want to know how many of them had laid a hand on you back then. I will get Gue to bring a book along to jot down their names. Feng Ruqing reached out to stroke Suyi's face. Feng Ruqing's words warmed Suyi's heart. Alright, even if there were a dragon's pool and a tiger's den ahead of us, we are a family and we shall face it together. Outside Tien Shan Manor, a couple stood together high up on Cloud Mountain. The young master was incredibly handsome with heroic bearing. He looked extremely imposing and domineering. The lady standing next to him was devastatingly gorgeous. Her beauty could bring everyone to their knees. Chapter 895. Hai Rong's plan either lady bore some semblances to Feng Ruqing. Her faint smile shone as brightly as a moon. Yang, I have prepared the gift. Shall we get Great Elder Lei Yun to send it to Tianshan Manor? Feng Tianyu turned his head sideways. The old master's birthday is coming soon. We must not sit back and do nothing. No one is allowed to look down on my daughter. Get Great Elder Lai Yun to send the gift to the Mu family personally. I want everyone to know that Nailin Yang's daughter deserves everything she wants. The corner of Nailin Yang's lips lifted. Naturally, Nailin Yang did not want any young master to take Feng Ruqing away. However, since Feng Ruqing had fallen for Nanxian, Nailin Yang knew that she could never keep her daughter by her side forever. Nailin Yang must accept Nanxian. Unfortunately, as Nailin Yang was away for years, she did not know much about the things that had happened. She had only learned about Nanxian's background from Great Elder Lei Yun. Hence, she knew what exactly the Mu family was. That rascal Nanxian is so lucky to have my daughter. Since he is part of the Mu family, why did he come to Liyun Kingdom to be the state preceptor? He has even taken my dearest daughter's heart away. He must have fallen for Qing'er since a long time ago and has purposely gotten into Liyun Kingdom to take Qing'er away. Feng Tianyu was a little annoyed. He felt that Nanxian had deceived him. Feng Tianyu trusted Nanxian so much and had thought of getting Nanxian to take Feng Ruqing as his disciple. Feng Tianyu had even made Nanxian a state preceptor, but it turned out that all these while, Nanxian only wanted to sleep with Feng Tianyu's daughter. No one in this world could tolerate this. Tianyu, Fengyun Manor is no match for Tianshan Manor now. However, it will surpass Tianshan Manor one day later. Nailin Yang held onto Feng Tianyu's hand. Tianshan Manor commanded the loftiest power in this realm as it had been established 1,000 years ago. On the contrary, Fengyun Manor was just established a few decades ago but had already made it this far. Nailin Yang must make Fengyun Manor more powerful so it could be Feng Ruqing's strong backing. Tianyu, we must go to Tianshan Manor. I have been searching for our son ever since I left the Divine Herbs sect. I have seen some progress back then. Now, I can confirm that our son is associated with the Tianshan Manor. However, I am unable to get the person who took our son away. Nailin Yang sneered. Me for extra chapters. Previously, Jiyu Zhenyang had taken Nailin Yang away right after delivery, but she had managed to escape from the Divine Herbs sect. As Nailin Yang missed her family so badly, she returned to the palace. However, she could only find Feng Ruqing in the palace. Her son was missing. It was then, when Nailin Yang had built Fengyun Manor. She had tasked the people of Fengyun Manor to look for her son. Unfortunately, before she could find her son, the people of the Divine Herbs sect had attacked her. She was severely injured and Tang Luo had brought her back to the Tang family. If not for Tang Luo, perhaps, Nailin Yang would have found her son. Fengyun Manor would have surpassed the Mu family. Her son would not be still missing and no one would look down on her daughter now. Read more chapter on Novelful. Every time Nailin Yang thought of Tang Luo, a deep resentment crept into her heart. Yang, everything is in the past now. Our family has reunited. I believe that our son is still safe and sound. Feng Tianyu felt bad for Nailin Yang and held her close in his arms. Nailin Yang held back the resentment in her heart since Tang Luo died a miserable death. She must learn to let go. Chapter 896, Hai Rong's Plan 2. I understand. Now the only thing that I am thankful for is that you are still here and that's enough. In Paramount. Zhu Ming was leaning lazily on the back of the chair that he was sitting on. A woman was respectfully standing in front of him. It is the Mu family's master's birthday in a few days. Fenglan, send a congratulatory gift on behalf of Paramount. Zhu Ming smiled, evilly. In Feng Ruqing's name. Fenglan was stunned. In the princess name, or, no. It should be in Paramount's master's name. Fenglan was speechless. Young master, are you sure that Princess Feng Ruqing will not be angry if she knows that you have forced the title Paramount Master onto her? Fenglan was a little silent. After a while, she said, recently, The people of the Mu family have been wandering outside Paramount. If you do this, the people might find out that the spirit herb dish was provided by the princess. You don't have to worry too much. It will be fine as long as we deny it regardless of their guesses. You just have to let the people know that little Chinga is Paramount's master. Ju Ming stood up from the chair lazily. Little Chinga went to Tianshan Manor this time. She would definitely attend the Mu family's master's birthday feast. How can I not support her? Fengyun Manor's name was obviously not enough to make Mu Ling uncomfortable. What if Feng Ruqing also held the title of Paramount's master? Did Mu Ling not come to Paramount for Divine Physician Qingxian? He would not tell Mu Ling that Feng Ruqing was Divine Physician Qingxian. The entire Paramount belonged to Chinga. However, if Mu Ling was nicer to Chinga earlier, naturally, he would have easily found Divine Physician Qingxian. Read more chapter on Novelful. As for the gift, you can pick something from the Spirit Herb Chamber. Don't be too stingy. We are going there to support Chinga. Young Master. Feng Lan glanced at Ju Ming hesitantly. You care about the princess so much. Why don't you go there in person? Because I'm afraid that I won't be able to control myself from taking her away from Nanxian. Ju Ming's fingers stroked his lips. He smiled. After all, little Chinga is too attractive. I need to spend a lot of energy to hold myself back from snatching her away. This was bad. His little Chinga would definitely get angry. Feng Lan lowered her head. Young Master, I understand. Young Master was so infatuated in Feng Ruqing. But he was still one step later than Nanxian. The princess already had someone who she liked. Empress Nailin and Feng Tianyu were so affectionate. Their daughter would also be very loyal and affectionate. Therefore, it was impossible for Feng Ruqing to love another person other than Nanxian. Me for extra chapters. If young Master was unable to stop loving Feng Ruqing, he would be very lonely. The birthday feast organized by the Mu family is bound to not be peaceful. Ju Ming's smile was unfathomable. When little Chinga gives anyone a tough time, you don't have to say much. You just need to remember those people's names. Yes, young Master. Feng Lan bowed and left. Ju Ming gazed out of the boathouse. His eyes were gloomy and the lightning birthmark under his eyebrow looked even eviler. If I can't take her away, then I will be her family. I'd like to see how many people at the Mu family will bully her this time. Inside the inn, Mu Huan stood in the room nervously. She looked anxious. She always thought that Master had already left. She did not expect him to be here, and it seemed that Master was in a hurry to find her. Master, my mother and I went to find a birthday gift for grandfather. I could not serve Master well during this period. Are you blaming me for that? He smiled. I'm just a little curious because I heard Mu Ling mentioning Su Yi. Quanah, just forget it, you did not get to see her anyway. By the way, I am planning to attend the old master's birthday feast since I'm not leaving yet. Do you know what the old master likes? Mu Huan's heart was shaking. Father once said that Su Yi would return to attend the birthday feast. Therefore, she must not let her master stay. Her father had given her a task this time when she came to meet Hai Rong. She must persuade her master to leave Tianshan Manor and never let him meet Su Yi. Actually, Mu Huan had always thought that master would not abandon her even after he got to know about all these. However, many people would be attending grandfather's birthday feast. That was why such a scandal must not be revealed at such times. If other people knew about it, the Mu family's reputation would be ruined. Master. Mu Huan smiled. She held Hai Rong's arm. Aren't you worried about those spirit herbs in the back hill? How can I trouble you for my grandfather's birthday? Besides, you are very famous among people. I'm afraid that those people might come and bother you instead of congratulating my grandfather. Master, you always know that I decided to become your apprentice because I admire you. My father has never once thought of using your name to enhance the Mu family's reputation. Furthermore, I will not allow such things to happen. Chapter 898, Hai Rong's plan. For Hai Rong smiled a little. No problem. I don't care about that. I can't just leave after arriving here. I will leave after the old master's birthday. Master. Mu Huan panicked. She dared not show any expression on her face. But the spirit herbs on the back hill would be eaten by the spirit beasts if no one is looking after them. Hai Rong was feeling uneasy and she had basically determined that his guess was right. Huana, why are you stopping me from joining the old master's birthday feast? Is there someone whom I can't meet there? A clear panic could be seen in Mu Huan's eyes this time. Even if it was just for a second, Hai Rong could still clearly see it. Master, how could there be anyone whom I don't want you to meet at the birthday feast? Mu Huan smiled. She then said kindly, I'm really asking because of the spirit herbs on the back hill. Master has always looked after the spirit herbs well. Didn't you mention that there were a few spirit herbs that would mature soon? I fear that the spirit beasts would fight over them. Master has initially wanted to go back before they mature, right? Mu Huan paused. So how can I bother you for grandfather's birthday? What she said was reasonable. It was as if she was really thinking about Hai Rong. Hai Rong's eyes sank a little. He stared at Mu Huan for a while before he burst out laughing. You're right. The spirit herbs on the back hill are about to mature. I should go back. Huana, you don't have to escort me this time. You shall return to Divine Cloud Mountain after the old master's birthday. Yes, master. Mu Huan's flustered heart finally relaxed. It seems that master really does not know about Suyi. As long as the two of them do not meet, mother's lie would not be detected. Read more chapter on novelful at least. The two of them must never meet each other at the birthday feast. Huana, I'm a bit tired. You shall go back and prepare for the birthday feast. If I can't make it to the feast, I will definitely send a big congratulatory gift to the old master. He purposely aggravated the word big with a gentle smile. No matter how cunning Mu Huan was, she was still too young. Even if she had sensed that something was wrong at first, how could she have won against an experienced old fox? I thank you on behalf of my grandfather. Mu Huan left with a cheerful smile on her face. Me for extra chapters. Hai Rong's face turned cold after Mu Huan had left. He clenched his fists tightly. Everyone knows that I am Mu Huan's master. Mu Ling knows that I don't like fame and fortune. I hate those who value fame and fortune. He dares not ask me to do anything for the Mu family, but it doesn't mean that he will not use my name to do other things in the future. Mu Ling and Chen Qingyang have treated me as a fool. Mu Huan also did not tell me the truth. This time, I'll let everyone know that I will cut off my relationship with the Mu family. He did not like fame and fortune and also detested deception. He could not forgive anyone who had cheated him regardless of who he was. The old master's birthday feast was coming and Tianshan Manor was busier than ever. The old master had made many friends and it was normal for many people to join him in celebration. However, that was in the past. After the old master had taken ill, those people had disappeared and had never shown up even once. It had never been so lively like today for a long time. Even Mu Ling was a little surprised. He had only regained his senses after he heard Han Feng's report. Those people have decided to come because they heard that Grandmaster Hai Rong is at the Mu family. They want to take this opportunity to build connections with Grandmaster Hai Rong. Grandmaster Qian Kuan is at the chief manor. Those people could not approach him. However, Hai Rong also does not value fame and fortune at all. Therefore, he is even more difficult to approach. Mu Ling was a little regrettable. It's such a waste. Hai Rong's name can be used anywhere. If only he is willing to help the Mu family, I don't have to ask Nanxian to return and arrange the marriage for him. We have Grandmaster Hai Rong with us. We don't have to fear that those families would not unite with the Mu family. Chapter 899, Birthday Feast. Nonetheless, Hai Rong did not value fame and fortune and hated those who coveted those. Han Feng, you may leave. Many people are attending the old master's birthday feast. We must ensure that nothing goes wrong at such times. Yes, young master. Han Feng clenched his fists respectfully and walked out of the hall with a limping foot. It did not take long for Mu Huan to walk in from the door after Han Feng left. She was very cold and proud while facing her father, unlike the kind and approachable girl in front of Hai Rong. I've already gone to Master. He will leave in the next few days. Mu Huan's face was dark. But I think Master may already doubt what you and Mother have said. Mu Ling's heart suddenly trembled. He stood up instantly. What did you just say? Has Hai Rong started to doubt us? Yes. Mu Huan slightly nodded. Father, you should tell Master the truth after Grandfather's birthday. I think he may know about it sooner or later. Mu Ling was holding his fist tightly. No, you can't let him know. Otherwise, everything will be ruined. Father. Mu Huan's face was dark. Do you think that the 10 years that I have spent with Master was not as valuable as the few months that you and Suyi spent together? If you do this, it will make me think that Suyi was the reason for what I have achieved so far. I obviously rely on my own strength. What is Suyi? Slap. Mu Ling was angry and slapped Mu Huan's face fiercely. Mu Huan's entire body froze. She raised her head in disbelief. She was shocked and very disappointed. Father had never touched her since she was a child. Now, he was hitting her for that woman. In his heart, was that woman more important than his daughter? Read more chapter on novel Full Huana. Mu Ling looked at Mu Huan's cold face. He felt guilty. I didn't mean to hit you. Even if Suyi has done something wrong, she is still my wife. You should not talk about your elders like that. He could blame Suyi. However, Huana was young. The young ones should respect the elders. Me for extra chapters. Mu Huan smiled sarcastically. Father, it was Mother who looked after you when you were sick. Nan Suyi ran away with another person and disappeared for a month. Later, it was Mother who had protected you when you were being hunted. However, Nan Suyi had already fled and left you two behind. Mother has done so much for you and Nan Suyi has done nothing. Why do you still prefer Nan Suyi more? Huana, you weren't like this before. Why did you become so aggressive after leaving the Mu family only for a few years? Seeing that his well-behaved daughter no longer existed, Mu Ling's heart slightly sank. He felt the pain in his heart. He immediately regretted it after slapping her. Huana was still his daughter after all. She was being protected and raised well since young. She had never been wronged once. But he hit her. Mu Huan sneered. I just can't stand to see what you have done to Mother. You love Mother because she was more obedient than Nan Suyi. Mother allowed you to marry more wives and did not complain about anything. You are still not satisfied after having Mother. You have even married Tan Shuangshuang and brought her into the Mu family. Father, how can you make me respect you? If you want me to respect you, it's easy. Just drive Tan Shuangshuang out and announce to the world that Nan Suyi is no longer your wife. You can say that she has a relationship with another man. Chapter 900, Birthday Feast 2. Only with this, Master could thoroughly see what kind of person Nan Suyi was. Even if everything was not revealed in the end, Master would only be angry that he was blinded and would never blame Mother for this. Mu Ling's eyes flared with anger again. But after seeing Mu Huan's stubborn face, he finally relented. I will not do such a thing. Not only because Suyi would never do that, but also that the Mu family's face is not allowed to be discredited. Announcing that Suyi was in a relationship with another man? The shame was still his. Mu Ling. He could not afford losing face like this. Moreover, although Suyi would no longer forgive him, she would not accept other men so easily. Mu Ling was still very confident about this. Mu Huan straightened her sleeves fiercely. Without saying a word, she turned around and left. In the Mu family, there seemed to be a terrifying storm. Chen Qingyang had come back one day later than Mu Huan. She hurried to the old master's courtyard when she returned. However, she was told that the old master had already moved out of the courtyard. Her face suddenly changed and her eyes were gloomy. Who allowed you to let father move out of the courtyard? Did you treat the old master harshly when I was not around? The people shivered. They kneeled down in a row with fear in their eyes. Read more chapter on novelful Lady Qingyang was not like Lady Suyi. She always had a good temper. This was the first time she had become angry. The weight of the old master in her heart was obvious. Qingyang me for extra chapters. A gentle voice came from behind. Mu Ling's anger toward Mu Huan had disappeared immediately when he saw Chen Qingyang. He said tenderly, "What happened? Why are you losing your temper when you have just returned?" He believed that Qingyang was not a person who was easily provoked. Someone must have provoked her. Brother Ling. Chen Qingyang was in tears. She sobbed. "I have only just left for a while. Why has the old master moved to second brother's courtyard?" Oh, regarding this matter, Mu Ling shook his head with a grin. Somehow, the old master had always been asking to move out. I couldn't stop him, so I agreed to let him move out. You can follow him if you want. Chen Qingyan's face was a little pale. No, absolutely not. The old master must come back to the east courtyard. He should never leave the east courtyard. Brother Ling. Chen Qingyang lowered her head with tears in her eyes. The east courtyard is a place suitable for healing. I am saying this for the old master's sake. Furthermore, I have planted many spirit plants and placed them around the courtyard to help to enhance the old master's recovery. Second brother's courtyard is not bad, but after all, it is a bit remote and unsuitable for curing illness. How could you agree with the old master? Although she was criticizing him, Mu Ling's heart softened again because he could see that Chen Qingyang was really concerned about the old master. Qingyang, the old master can be very stubborn at times. I can't do anything. I will persuade him when I have the time. He is my father. I can't be too tough on him. Sometimes, Mu Ling was still a filial son. However, he valued fame and fortune too much. He dared not let the people know that the old master's strength was getting poorer. Chen Qingyang panicked and pursed her lip tightly. But, Brother Ling, my father's birthday is coming. Just let him stay there for the meantime. I will try to get him to move back after his birthday is over. I know you said all this for my father's sake. Even though the old master is now living in second brother's courtyard, you can still go visit him. Second brother will not dare to stop you. Chapter 901, Birthday Feast 3. Alright, I'll listen to you, Brother Ling. Chen Qingyang lowered her eyes, covering the coldness in her eyes. It seemed that Mu Ling was not very reliable this time. She must let the old man move back to the eastern courtyard. Mu Ling suddenly thought of what Hai Rong had once said. Qingyang, Grandmaster Hai Rong said that we should not visit father so often now in order not to provoke him. You may go to visit him when he gets better. Mu Ling felt a headache when he said that. He knew that his father did not like Qingyang, but he did not expect his father to hate her this much. At first, Qingyang had insisted on taking care of his father. However, his father had always disagreed. Qingyang had almost fainted while kneeling outside the door on this matter. He decided to let her make the medicine and gave the only spirit herb to Qingyang due to her filial piety. He had always thought that his father would always accept Qingyang over time. If anyone said this to him, he would have ignored them, but it was from Hai Rong. He had always believed in Hai Rong's word. Chen Qingyang raised her pale face and seemed devastated. Her soft body was shaking and her face was full of sorrow. "Does my existence irritate the old master?" she said with a bitter smile. "I thought that as long as I was good to the old master, he would accept me someday." Mu Ling felt a pain in his heart. He held Chen Qingyang in his arms, tightly. "Qingyang, it is not your fault. It was the old man himself who cannot see your kindness. Everyone in the Mu family knows that you treat him well. How can it be your fault? Brother Ling." Chen Qingyang took a bracelet out of her bag and put it in Mu Ling's hands. He smiled bitterly. "This is what I found when I went out this time. Let the old master wear it. The level of his strength will be concealed with this. Then, others will not know that the old master's strength is declining." She turned and walked out of the courtyard after she had put the bracelet in Mu Ling's hands. Mu Ling held onto the bracelet tightly. He felt guilty while staring at Qingyin's figure when she left. After all, he had still made Qingyang sad this time. Where is the old master now? My lord, the old master has never come out of the courtyard, the guard responded, respectfully. Me for extra chapters. Mu Ling held the bracelet in his hand, tightly. He no longer spoke and then turned to walk toward the courtyard. In the Mu family, the courtyard was the only place that was tranquil. Mu Ling could see the old master sitting on the ground, watching the ants move from a distance. He frowned angrily. Father, what are you doing? The old man snorted. Even the ants are so united, why is my family like a heap of loose sand? Father. Mu Ling was in pain. I don't know why you hate Qingyang so much. Hasn't she done enough for you? You are so stubborn. You wanted to move out of the eastern courtyard. That was fine with me. I have let you do what you wanted. You are my father. I can't do anything to you. However, can't you just be nicer to Qingyang knowing that she's my wife? The old master lifted his head and asked, stiffly, did you say Chen Qingyang? Isn't she dead yet? Father. Mu Ling's face darkened significantly. He did not understand why the old man could easily accept Suyi but was so cruel to Qingyang. The past was the past. Why should they keep holding on to those unhappy moments? Hai Rong said that Qingyang should not often appear in front of you in order not to provoke you. Do you know how sad Qingyang was when she was told that? She has always thought of you and is so filial to you. Can't you just be nicer to her? Chapter 902, Birthday Feast 4. She is a wicked woman. She wanted to kill me. The old master snorted softly. Anyway, I will hit her every time I see her. If you speak up for her again, I will hit you too. Mu Ling's face darkened. This old man was really unreasonable. Qingyang was so kind to him. However, he wronged her by saying that she wanted to poison him. Father, I tolerate you because you are my father. I had even asked Qingyang to be patient with you, but you can't ignore her kindness. I will let you live with second brother for a few days. Please move back to the eastern courtyard after your birthday. Please don't let her down again since she is working so hard to please you. You said that Qingyang wanted to poison you. Alright, I won't let Qingyang prepare your medicine next time, lest you misunderstand her again. After that, Mu Ling turned away with a contorted face. He was afraid that he would quarrel with his father if he stayed there. The old master stared in Mu Ling's direction. He was a little aggrieved. Butler, will Suyi come back this time? Will she return with my grandson? The butler moved toward the old master and sighed softly. Yes. Oh, Mu Ling has bullied me and shouted at me just now. He's a jerk. I'm going to tell Suyi and let her have at him. The butler was silent for a while. You can hit him back, old master. No, no. I'm not the kind of person who will hit people. I have a good temper. The butler was speechless. Don't you feel guilty of saying this, old master? Nonetheless, the butler knew that every time Chen Qingyang appeared, the old master would be irritated. He would scold and beat her. If someone stopped him, he would beat that person too. When Chen Qingyang did not show up, the old man would not get sick so easily. Old master, you hate Chen Qingyang so much. Are there any other reasons for hating her? The butler was doubtful about this. In the past, although the old master did not like Chen Qingyang, he did not hate her to such an extent. When did he start to be like this? Me for extra chapters. Apparently, it seemed that he had started to hate her just before Lady Suyi left the Mu family. Why? I don't really remember. The old master stared blankly. I have always felt that I have forgotten a lot of things lately. If this goes on, will I forget to eat too? The butler said with sympathetically, Old master, it doesn't matter. I will remember to feed you. Oh, right. Little Qingyin should be attending school, right? Have you registered him for school? Old master, second young master is almost 30 years old now. Is little Qingyin almost 30? Time passes so fast. I remember that he was only this big before. Old Master Mu gestured with his hand as if he was in deep memories. Back then, he was always following Suyi around, especially when she was pregnant. Little Qingyan was obviously in poor health, but he was like a little guard protecting her. By the way, where is Suyi? Where did she go? The butler sighed. Lady Suyi has left the manor. She will be back in a few days. Good, good. I thought Suyi was driven away by that bad woman. Luckily, she will return. The old man smiled. The butler became sadder. The old master's memory was worsening. He always forgot that Lady Suyi had run away from home. He often thought that the second young master was still a little young boy in his 20s. How could it go on like this? Perhaps, Lady Suyi and Nanxian were the only ones who could comfort the old master now. Chapter 903, Birthday Feast v Lady Qingyang. At the Mu family's courtyard, a guard came in hurriedly and walked toward Chen Qingyang. A girl named Encui who wants to meet you. Chen Qingyang narrowed her eyes. Encui, the manor master's niece. She heard that Encui had been kicked out of the chief manor. Now, why had she come to the Mu family to see her now? Go and bring her in. Yes. The guard heeded the order and backed down. After a few minutes, a beautiful girl came in, led by the guard. Young lady An. Chen Qingyang smiled politely. You have come to see me. What's the matter? Encui seemed very well behaved and walked up next to Chen Qingyang. Everyone at Tianshan Manor knows that Lady Qingyang is the one who is managing everything in the Mu family now. I have come because I wanted to ask for something, Lady Qingyang. Chen Qingyang glanced at Encui, suspiciously. What do you want? Lady Qingyang, I want to be Nanxian's woman. I am willing to be his concubine. Encui understood that it was impossible for her to become Nanxian's wife due to her identity. She was satisfied as long as she could enter the Mu family. Me for extra chapters. Chen Qingyang slightly a little. Young lady An, I'm afraid I can't help you. I'm not Nanxian's biological mother. He will not listen to me. Lady Qingyang, although Nanxian is not your biological son, you are the one taking care of the Mu family's affairs now. Encui smiled flatteringly. Your power is greater than the young lady of the Mu family, Lady Suyi. Of course, you have the right to decide his marriage. Young Master Nanxian is not that disobedient. Chen Qingyan's eyes darkened. You have to insist that Nanxian has slept with you. You will have to lose your virginity just in case they find out that you were lying. Otherwise, I have no other ways to let you enter the Mu family. Chen Qingyan's method was really cruel. She not only wanted to force Nanxian to marry a woman that he did not like, but she also wanted everyone to know that Nanxian was being played by the woman. It was really miserable. Encui was startled. What if Nanxian refuses to admit it? Chen Qingyang smiled. It doesn't matter if he does not admit it as long as the world believes it. Brother Ling is always afraid of losing face. He will definitely force Nanxian to accept you. Encui looked up and saw Chen Qingyan smile. She was a little flustered. However, she understood that it was the only way. If she did not listen to Chen Qingyang would not help her again. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.